All right, here we are at review for 4.1 to 4.4 in chapter 4. We're doing some two-column proofs now. This is page 2 of 4.1 to 4.4. If you take a look, first thing we should do is write down the given. So here's one part of the given. This is a definition right here. So I'm going to write the definition. This means perpendicular. So if I have perpendicular lines, then that means that I have right angles. So in this problem, angle 1 and angle 2 are going to be perpendicular angles. So perpendicular lines which form right angles. So angle 1 and angle 2 are right angles. And the reason I can say that is because of definition of perpendicular lines. And at the same time, because they're right angles, I can say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because of right angles are congruent. So you need these two statements if you have perpendicular lines. If you don't have perpendicular lines, then you would only need one statement. But because they're perpendicular, you need these two statements. You're going to state that you have right angles, and then you're going to tell that the right angles are equal to one another. All right, problem number 4. I can come over and say D is the midpoint of EC, and that was given to me. So that's why I can say that. So if I have midpoint, what does midpoint mean? It's the middle. So if it's the middle, that means it cut those two lines. It cut that line into two equal parts. So name those two parts. So ED is going to be congruent to CD. Why? Because that's what the definition of a midpoint is. All right, so I've taken care of that. And then the next thing I can say, there's one more given here. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. So I'm going to come and mark that over here, that ED was congruent to DC. And angle 3 is congruent to angle 4 now. And the reason I can say that is because it was given to me. So if you take a look at your picture, you have an angle, a side, and an angle. And you have an angle, side, and angle. So 7, I can say the triangles are congruent now because of that. So AED is going to be congruent to triangles BCD because of angle, side, angle. Next one. 1 is going to be your given. So you go in and you put down what your given was. And I have a definition in this one again, bisect. I'm bisecting a line segment here. So CD bisects the line segment AB. So if it bisects it, that means it's cut it in half again. So this is AD is going to be congruent to BD. So you go in and do the definition and then tell what it was that it did. And this was definition of a bisector. All right, so it cut it. So that's equal to that. And it was given to me that AC is going to equal CB. And so now I'm looking to see one more thing, either side angle side or side side side. And I see that this shares a common side. So I can say for number 3, CD is congruent to CD. And the reason I can say that is because of the reflexive. And so now I have enough information side, side, side in this one and side, side, side in that one. So I can come down and say triangle ADC is congruent to triangle BDC. And the reason for that is because of side, side, side. Remember, anytime you write the triangles, you need one of those 4 proofs. Either side, 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 angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. So one of those 4 You need one of those four. And that goes across from when you write down the triangle symbol. All right, last one. RS bisects PQ at T. So the line segment RS is going to bisect PQ. So that means it cuts it into two equal parts. So what are those two equal parts? So it's going to be PT is going to be congruent to QT. And the reason, definition of a bisector. And at the same time it says, sorry about that, same time it says PQ, so PQ bisects RS, so that means these two parts are equal. So RT is going to be congruent to ST because of definition of a bisector. So now if you take a look at your picture, I would need either another side or an angle. And if you take a look here, it forms an X. So I should think of vertical angles because the picture forms an X. So 3, angle now, RTQ is going to be congruent to angle. Okay, so this, I started with the RT, so I started with the 2, so I need to come and say STP. And 3 is going to be because of vertical angles. And then number 4, I have enough information now, side angle side and side angle side. So I can come and say triangle PTS is congruent to triangle QTR. And the reason is because of side angle side. So once again, when I see X's, when I see an X as my picture, I should think of vertical angles. If I see they share a common side, I should think of reflexive. And if I have perpendicular, then I need to state that I have right angles. And then after I have right angles, then I need to state that the right angles are congruent.